Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched online with a qualified therapist. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/super. That's betterhelp.com/super. Why didn't Voldemort create a philosopher's stone? Hey, brother! Voldemort and the stone. It's how the story begins. It's Voldemort's key objective for Harry's entire first year, and he is very nearly successful in retrieving it. And any diehard Potterhead may have clicked this video to immediately race to the comments and be like, you don't need an entire video to explain something that's literally written on the page. I think a sorcerer's stone would appeal less than Horcruxes to Lord Voldemort. While the elixir of life does indeed extend life, it must be drunk regularly for all eternity if the drinker is to maintain their immortality. I believe that he would have found the thought of being dependent, even on the elixir, intolerable. And boom, bam, there you go. Now I guess just enjoy like 12 minutes of elevator music or something. No, I'm kidding, because while that explanation does exist, I don't think it explains why he wouldn't just make one himself. It simply explains why he would prefer Horcruxes as a method to achieve immortality over a stone. And we know that even as of year one, he's already made most of his Horcruxes and is seeking the stone anyway. So again, why not just make one? But the thing about this curiosity is that it's not just Voldemort we need to examine. There's another key character directly tied to the stone, Nicholas Flamel, the only known creator. The big question with Flamel, on the other hand, is almost the exact opposite of Voldemort, which is, how did the stone not corrupt him? Dumbledore actually has a really great line towards the end of Harry's first year that nearly dangles this question in front of us, and yet we all usually just breeze right past it. You know, the stone was really not such a wonderful thing. As much money and life as you could want. The two things most human beings would choose above all. The trouble is, humans do have a knack of choosing precisely those things that are worst for them. Humans have that particular trouble, and yet the only human to succeed in this quest, Nicholas Flamel, managed to get out scotch-free? What gives? Well, the good news is, I think both questions can be solved with a single answer. So today, we discuss why didn't Voldemort create his own stone, and how did Flamel defy corruption? But guys, now we're going to pause real quick so I can tell you about a really great way to support our show, Super Carlin Brothers, and it's our very own wizarding candle subscription. Look at this. Each month, we work with our in-house illustrator, Isabel, to concoct a new design for each candle. Plus, each month has a brand new curated scent, and this is the cool part, each candle, as you burn it down, there is a collectible charm hiding in the depths of the wax. Each year, we pick a new theme for the candles, and this year is OWLs, and today marks the launch of our Care of Magical Creatures candle, which features scents of cinnamon, cedar, and oak moss. It's like being in the woods. So if you want to help support the show, you can subscribe or purchase today at carlinbrothersmercantile.com, link in the description down below, and now back to the theory. Let's talk about alchemy. What is it? Well, in a very neat nutshell, it is quite literally the quest to create the philosopher's stone, the legendary substance that can indeed turn any base metal into gold and produce the elixir of life, offering the drinker eternal youth. That is literally the goal of the entire field of alchemy. And in Harry Potter, we know that Nicholas Flamel was successful in this endeavor. And yet, when we read Dumbledore's chocolate frog card, it says, considered by many the greatest wizard of modern times, Dumbledore is particularly famous for his defeat of the dark wizard Grindelwald in 1945, for the discovery of the 12 uses of dragon's blood, and his work on alchemy with his partner Nicholas Flamel. Professor Dumbledore enjoys chamber music and 10-pin bowling. It must be really frustrating to bowl with Dumbledore when he can, just magic any of the pins he misses,
Kill the stag! Nice throw!
But the hitch in our giddy-up here is that by the time Dumbledore would enter Nicholas Flamel's life, Flamel would already be well into his 500s. The stone would have actually been created half a century earlier, so what pray tell, were Dumbledore's contributions to the field of alchemy if they had already made the stone? I mean, he clearly did something. He even gets an award for it, as The Life and Lives of Albus Dumbledore includes reference to him as the gold medal winner for groundbreaking contribution to the International Alchemical Conference in Cairo. And maybe it's just me, but personally, I feel like all of the medals should be gold at the alchemy conference, right? That was an alchemy joke. I mean, I know literally none of you laughed at it, but that would have killed at the conference. Except, you can't kill there because immortality, right? Immortal to an extent, he maybe should be saying, though, because really what he has is an endless supply to an elixir that will stop him from dying. Interestingly, though, if you go and look at the Pottermore archives, alchemy is described as the search for the philosopher's stone, which would turn base metals into gold and give the possessor eternal youth, which does not seem to line up with the figure of Flamel we see in Crimes of Grindelwald. Like, we know he succeeded in making the stone, but he's not exactly youthful or living like someone who has unlimited gold. And yet we know him to be over 600 at this point, so clearly he is using the stone to some degree. Like, what gives? Does the stone just not actually make you more youthful? It just stops you from dying? Well, based on what happens in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and how we see Flamel using it, I think we can piece together the real story here. A huge theme in the first book is just establishing Harry as an extremely selfless hero who truly has his priorities straight. Or worse, expelled. Something the other characters have to learn. But the big reveal for this moment is when he looks in the mirror of Erised and glimpses his heart's desire. Not things the stone can make, life or money, but love and family. In spite of all the temptation you have endured, all the suffering, you remain pure of heart. Just as pure as you were at the age of 11, when you stared into a mirror that reflected your heart's desire, and it showed you the only way to thwart Lord Voldemort, and not immortality or riches. Harry, have you any idea how few wizards could have seen what you saw in that mirror? Voldemort should have known then what he was dealing with, but he did not. Which, to be fair, Voldemort doesn't actually know what Harry saw in the mirror, but he was clever enough to realize that Dumbledore probably put some weird wackadoo charm on it that only Harry could break through. Which he does. But also, if you ask me, this was a massively unnecessary liability because the stone is perfectly safe from Voldemort in the mirror until Harry walked into the room, and yet Dumbledore clearly wanted Harry to walk into the room because that's the reason for the entire obstacle course, but it's dude, why make it available at all? Just keep it from him, right? Right? Either way, the wackadoo charm is later revealed to be only one who wanted to find the stone, find it, but not use it, would be able to get it. Otherwise, they just see themselves making gold or drinking elixir of life.
That is one of my more brilliant ideas.
But this idea and this entire sequence is later mirrored at the end of Book 7 when Harry enters the forest to die. But after he does, Dumbledore informs him that it might not be so. Then I'm dead too. That is the question, isn't it? On the whole, dear boy, I think not. Not? But I should have died. I didn't defend myself. I meant to let him kill me. And that, said Dumbledore, would I think have made all the difference. I'm not gonna lie, Harry got a little sassy in death, didn't he? You see, Harry, only someone who wanted to die, not for selfish reasons, but to truly protect others, could not die. Or something like that. But also, Voldemort took your blood into himself, thus anchoring your mother's sacrifice to the mortal realm, which was a really dumb move by him, but that, yes, you also had to want to die, so don't work. Good job. But that is the moment that Harry symbolically becomes the Philosopher's Stone. The journey he's actually been on the entire series, but not in the materialistic gold and extra life way you might be thinking. See, back on Pottermore, we actually get a further explanation of alchemy. One interpretation of the instructions left by the alchemists is that they are symbolic of a spiritual journey, leading the alchemists from ignorance, base metal, to enlightenment, gold. And Harry is constantly associated with gold right from the beginning. Gryffindor's colors are red and gold. His wand has a gold tail feather in it. Polyjuice, with his hair, turns gold. He seeks the golden snitch. He shoots golden fire. You get the point. And none of that is an accident, I assure you. Because it's all a metaphor for Harry's own journey to enlightenment, which you can hear him achieving in his mind as he walks to the forest. Slowly, very slowly, he sat up, and as he did so, he felt more alive and more aware of his own living body than ever before. Why had he never appreciated what a miracle he was? Brain and nerve and bounding heart, it would all be gone, or at least he would be gone from it. And in doing all of this, Harry achieves the underlying objective of the Philosopher's Stone. You are the true master of death, because the true master does not seek to run away from death. He accepts that he must die, and understands that there are far, far worse things in the living world than dying. You see, Harry is the Philosopher's Stone, and much like the stone, he is master of death. He didn't take the alchemical path, but he's completed the journey to enlightenment. And it all comes back to the mirror and the magic Dumbledore invoked to protect the stone. Only that person who wanted to protect it, not use it, could get it. And by Dumbledore's own admission, it's one of his finest ideas. But think back to the chocolate frog card with Dumbledore's work with Nicholas Flamel. Could it be that the inspiration for how to protect the stone is the same as the key ingredient to create the stone? As in, a real alchemist seeks the creation of the stone through true passion for their craft, not desire for immortality or riches. It's education and understanding, or dare we even suggest, enlightenment. And through enlightenment, one realizes the truth that gold, wealth, and immortality are not the goals of life. Hence, Nicholas Flamel. He has a stone that can turn metals to gold, and yet lives in a decidedly shabby and humble home. He has achieved immortality, but through a simple request to prevent the stone from going to Voldemort, he readily accepts his own death. Nicholas Flamel was able to create the Philosopher's Stone because his intention was to find the stone, but not use it. I mean, obviously he's using it some to stay alive, but to me, this feels a lot more like how Dumbledore says he was allowed to tame the Elder Wand, you know? Use it, but not most of it. I dare say, though, if he used it to its full potential, he probably could return to a more youthful existence. But you can see just how much restraint he has when even after he's called into action to fight Grindelwald, he still stays an old man. So why didn't the stone corrupt Nicholas Flamel? Because he never could have created it if he was somebody who could be corrupted by it. Flamel's ability to create the stone is just as unique as Harry's ability to retrieve it from the mirror. Though I do find it fascinating that he accepts death 1 year before his 666th birthday, which feels like no mistake, almost as if he'd chosen to live that long, he'd have pushed it too far and maybe would have at last given into temptation. I mean, that's pure speculation, but it just seems very intentional because 666 has its own bad connotations, and that's what he stops short of. But to bring it all together, this also answers our other question, which is why did Voldemort seek the stone rather than just creating his own? But it's for the same reason he could never have broken through the mirror's defenses. He never intends to die. He fears death. He cannot achieve enlightenment. He would never respect the powers of the stone. And as for what contributions Dumbledore could have offered the field of alchemy 500 years later, I suspect it was the realization that the magic that created the physical stone had an intangible state that could be recreated in a human being. It was the process of guiding a person towards enlightenment. It's what he admired about Newt and what he eventually guides Harry to do. We mentioned the instructions left by the alchemists earlier. Those were real, like here in the real world, recorded on magnificently artistic painted scrolls called the Ripley Scrolls. Look them up. We've been fortunate enough to see one of these in person, but they all end in the same way. The final step to making the Philosopher's Stone is to combine a red, black, and white stone. And wouldn't you know it, Harry has 3 father figures throughout the books. Hagrid, Dumbledore, and Sirius.
Nice one, James!
And guess what? Hagrid's first name, Rubeus, means red.
I shouldn't have said that.
Albus means white.
Earwax.
And black, It means black.
You've done beautifully.
Harry is the stone, and Voldemort could only ever hope to steal one because he is not enlightened and simply cannot understand love. So, in a way, Voldemort never really stopped hunting the stone, and even used a little bit of it during his resurrection. Blood drips. But in the end, it protected the wrong, or right, depending on your perspective, person. You know the other reason Voldemort couldn't make a Sorcerer's Stone? Because it's called the Philosopher's Stone, actually. So, he'd be working towards the wrong thing. Silly Americans. But guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future Harry Potter action from us. If you want a greater explanation, a full breakdown of why Harry is the Philosopher's Stone, you can check out this video right here. But otherwise, until next time, don't forget, ducks, they go in cups.